All right, so we'll be getting some new fighters as well as a new patch, and I'll say this patch, after going through some of the patch notes, it's gonna be fairly underwhelming. But honestly, depending on who you are, it's either gonna be really, really underwhelming or just kind of underwhelming. And for me, it's just kind of underwhelming because there is a change in here that is really going to improve my quality of life once the patch drops, and we'll get to that. First things first, though, let's take a look at the fighters that got dropped, that will be released. Roman Dolidze, Benoit Saint Denis, Anthony Hernandez. Let me reduce this so you guys can actually see these fighters properly. There you go. This is fighter number 1, fighter number 2, and fighter number 3. So we'll be getting these fighters. Honestly speaking, you know, we say this every single time that we are receiving a brand new fighter, and this is something that I've been trying my very best to relay to these people. All these fighter drops, all these additions, they're cool, they're nice, we really appreciate them, but not as cool as it would have been if every single one of these fighters were dropping with something unique to them besides just getting a skin. You know what I mean? It's like, you know you're getting a new fighter, but in the back of your mind also, it kind of kills some of that excitement because you know it's just going to be a skin. The fighter is going to share the same animations as everybody else. There's not going to be much unique to those fighters being dropped, and it's a shame. It's a pity. So hopefully this is something that, you know, they can really, really improve on. It's going to increase how much excitement players get when you tell them, hey, we're dropping a new fighter. Especially if in the future you guys plan to do something super cool, right? Maybe you're dropping someone that's super, super cool. Let's not make the same mistake we made with Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali, where these guys were dropped with generic animations. You know, these guys need something unique about them. Anyways, let's talk about the patch right here. It says the patch, of course, will be added May 28th, 2024, approximately 4 p.m. Pacific. For the striking, right here, this is the big one for me personally, as someone who really enjoys the block counter. Fixed an issue that allowed fighters to partially block the special lead hook block counter. Now, this block counter is referring to, this is something that we suggested to them to add. Actually, I suggested, but, you know, but the block counter, of course, it's something you see boxers do all the time when you attack their lead hand with like a right hook or something, or an overhand. They fire off a lead hook on the same exact side before you can actually block it. And I saw this happen so many times in boxing, and I believe this was in UFC 3 when we still had Jeff made that suggestion, and he got it in, and it was really, really working. But for some reason in UFC 5, it just got busted, and it hasn't been working properly this whole entire time. Even though you guys have seen me and some of the players actually use the block counter effectively, it's actually not working as intended, which makes the forward moving slip hooks a lot more overpowered than they should be. But I think with this fix, now everybody that does that forward moving slip hook into the block, if you do it against someone that knows how to block counter, that hook is going to hit you. You're not going to be able to block it anymore. It's going to hit you. And you're going to have to do something like move your head, duck, pull, or something, or lunge out the way after you make contact. It says blocking a hook or overhand on your lead side allows you to fire off a lead hook very quickly in return. Previously, opponents were able to rarely block it. Now, the counter should land cleanly before the opponent can block it. So that's good. That's very, very good. It is going to improve your striking. And if you're using somebody with really high stance switching, this is actually even better because it's really going to limit your opponent. Like if you're really good at that, at block counters, which is already not an easy thing to do, but if you're really good at it, it really limits your opponent. Like your opponent sometimes might not even be able to throw left hooks at you without ducking or pulling back after that left hook lands. So to me, it's a really, really good change. It's a significant change. If you're not the kind of person that block counters, then this change means nothing to you. So I get it. But for me and other players that love to block counter, this is huge. It's massive. So really happy about that. fixed a rare tracking issue against head movement that distorted the strike trajectory and could lead to unfair hits. So this is talking about strike tracking, right? So when you're trying to move your head and certain strikes are actually hitting you when they're not supposed to, they're fixing that. So that's good, right? That's pretty good. We'll see how it actually plays out when we get our hands on a patch. I think there's still going to be a lot of tracking issues. Like, I don't think this even comes close to fixing all the tracking issues, but it's very good that they're actually doing something about tracking, because it has always been a problem. I think the most egregious tracking issue is when shots hit you when you're way out of range. That's the worst, right? When you're nowhere near the actual punch and it still hits you. I think that's the one that they're going to have some serious issues fixing, because they haven't been able to figure out exactly what's causing it. But I think that's the most important one they need to fix. And then, if you guys use Conor McGregor all the time, you know exactly what this is talking about. They fixed an inconsistency with the advancing lead hook to straight combo. It's when you throw the lead hook into the cross with Conor, and that cross is ridiculously sped up, specifically the Celtic cross. So they're fixing that. It's not gonna have regular speed. So yeah, all these Conor McGregor users, you'll definitely notice a slower combo when it comes to that. With grappling, I'm very disappointed. This is all we're getting with grappling, because I think the grappling still needs a lot of work. I'm really looking forward to something being done with the clinch. I'm not saying I don't want to clinch deny input, because I don't think it's necessarily realistic, but I would like something to be done in regards to vulnerability, right? When someone is constantly trying to clinch you over and over again, and you're hitting them as they're doing that, I'd like to see the vulnerability on that bumped up significantly, so that players are not just doing it over and over and over again brainlessly with no setup, just reaching the hands out over and over and over again. If I freaking blast, for example, like the vulnerability on when you try to push an opponent, if you guys have never seen that, try it. Like, go into practice mode or something, try to push somebody and then get hit with an uppercut, see what happens. It's like a rock almost every single time. The vulnerability on that is so crazy. So I don't see why a similar vulnerability cannot be added to the clinch. It's literally the same motion. You're trying to push him away versus reaching out to grab. The concept, the idea is you're leaving yourself wide open to getting caught. And so if you're reaching your hand out like that to grab somebody and they're blasting you with uppercuts, bro, come on. Let's get that vulnerability bumped up. That's the fix we need for the clinch. I still want players to be able to enter the clinch. If you're using someone like DC, John, fighters that love the clinch, we should still be able to enter. But let's do it smartly. Let's do it intelligently and not just over and over again. So they fixed a rare animation issue in exchanges from the overrun. I don't know what the hell that means. I don't know what rare animation issue they're talking about, so I have no idea what this changes. But yeah, we need more. Definitely need more changes to grappling. Right now, some actual fighters known for their high cardio, high-paced wrestling, if you try to use them like that, you gas out so quickly. And that's because the game is so stally. Everything is so deny, transition, deny, transition. And that's not the way grappling works. That's not the way it works. It shouldn't work that way. So I'm hoping that they can do something about that in the future. So besides that, though, they added Michael Chandler to welterweight, some new vanity items, blah, 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 blah. That's pretty much it. Like I said, underwhelming patch, nothing crazy at all. The only thing here that I'm super excited about is this right here. This is going to be big. Can't wait to see how this one plays out. So there you have it, man. Thank you for watching. I know what you're going to say in the comments, and you will be right. It is an underwhelming patch. I agree. I agree completely. But I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you boys later. Peace out. Have a good one.